When I landed back at home base after my trip, quite a few of my friends commented and complimented me on that achievement. What was the achievement? Well, I had found and bought a really nice Cessna 170B, and then I had taken her on a wonderful trip across the eastern US, and with that, I had fulfilled a boyhood dream. So actually, there were like three accomplishments, but I'll talk only about the first one, finding and buying a 170. As it turned out, I could not have selected a better plane for what I was going to do. Hey, I'm Wolf. I'm a retired physicist and a glide and tailwheel pilot. Why a 170? At first I thought I really should stay true to my dream. After all, a 170 was the protagonist in that book that spawned my dream about flying across the United States. So I started to read up on it and investigate, and the more I found out, the more it became clear, protagonist or not. No, it seemed that the 170 was just the right plane for my mission. And also, I really liked the looks of the 170. For me, a tail dragger has to have a round tail. How I found and bought this plane, I already described in a different video. After only a few hours at the controls of my 70, I had already fallen in love with that plane. It was all that I had ever dreamed of. It was a plane for me. In coming from the glider world, I instantly realized its nicely coordinated and responsive controls and the nimble handling. And at the same time, she was flying very nicely and stable and did not need permanent corrections in gusty conditions or in convective turbulence. And also, after having been around her for a while, I learned more about 170s in general and more details about my bird, and that's when I understood why those planes are so desirable. There's just a whole lot of modifications of the wing, the engine, of the interior, the gear, that pretty much everybody can personalize their model to a very high degree and adapt it to individual tastes and requirements. And that resonated very strongly with a desire in me, namely to make my 170 the best it can be. During my trip, I confirmed immediately that I had made the right choice. And flying her for a little over 2 weeks, I came to appreciate the sportsman's stole cuff on the wing, the bigger tires, the extended baggage compartment, the tail pull handles, and a lot of other little details. I really loved that plane. And I liked that trip so much that I thought, well, maybe I should start planning another one. And then I asked myself, well, what could I do to make Whiskyblue even better for my next adventure? And I started to play with different designs for an instrument panel. I researched other modifications. And in the meantime, we had found out that pitted cam lobes were the cause for those vibrations and the intermittent power loss. And I was advised to have the engine overhauled. When I thought about it, one of those secret fantasies came out of hiding. More power. I remembered very well this one particular moment during my last trip when I had decided not to land on a small private strip where I had been invited to camp, and I really was tempted to do so, because I felt that the 0300, even with a climb prop, would not leave me with enough margin for a safe takeoff and climb out. And also, more power would make many more of those backcountry strips available and accessible, strips that hadn't even made it into my planning stage. So what does it mean to upgrade an engine? So first, I would have to decide which motor. I could get the Delaware conversion or try to find an old Avcon or go with the new Stutes. They all cost a lot of money. It's a really hard pill to swallow. Then I thought, is a complete overhaul really that much cheaper? Well, here's what I learned after I talked to many people with experience. If I wanted to stay true to my mantra of being a very good steward for my ship, making sure she's in perfect condition and is the best 170 that she can be, I would not only have to pay for a really good complete overhaul, I would also have to get a new engine mount, could get a new exhaust, and possibly want to buy a new alternator, plus all the material needed for a perfect clean new install. New hoses, new wiring, new clamps, all that stuff. A quick back of the envelope calculation told me that yes, the upgrade is more expensive, but the difference is not as much as I had thought. And that was the time when this not so secret anymore fantasy of more power piped up again. See, you should do it. There's your chance to fulfill your dream completely. Go for the upgrade. You only live once. You know, all these famous quotes and sayings. Damn the torpedoes. But in the end, they convinced me. And I gave myself permission to turn Whiskyblue into a Super 170. If you want to find out how this project went along, come back for my next videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.